This is ADA, Architectural Design Advisor. It helps developer to easily visualize the coupled data in an open source repository, specifically Java repository. Let's see how ADA works in practice. So this is ADA dashboard. It takes two input, the GitHub repository URL and a specific branch. For instance, this is a Java-based repository, specifically Android repository, InstaMaterial. If we want to visualize the coupling graph for this repository, we just need to copy the URL of this repository and paste in ADA dashboard. ADA will automatically pull all the branches of this repository. Here you can see the branches are loaded. Now we need to select a branch, select master branch and hit analyze. It will take a few moments to produce the coupling graph of this repository, and it depends on the size of the repository. So the graph is produced, and here you can see there is a lot of nodes and edges. The edges are color coded. It represents the severity of the coupling. Now let's understand the graph. There are two menus, graph menu and element insight. In the graph menu, first there are different types of layout you can use for visualize this graph. This is by default the circle layout, but we can change the layout like grid, random and even focus. Let's get back to the circle layout. Now the edges are color coded based on the normalized matrix value. So if you want to view the matrix value, how it represents, you can enable this one, show edge weighted. It will show you the actual normalized matrix value. And there are some nodes that are not associated with other nodes, classes or source file, and you can easily get rid of these nodes. For instance, this one, squared frame layout. So if you want to get rid of all this type of nodes, just enable this option, hide nodes without edges. It will restructure the graph. And also we want to locate the highly coupled area, so we can set a threshold like 0.7, and all the nodes and edges greater than this threshold value are the coupled area. So if we want to filter the graph in this way, we can easily do that by this threshold value like 0.7, and it will show us all the nodes and edges that have this normalized matrix value greater than 0.7. So it again reorganize the graph, and you can zoom in, you can zoom out, whatever you want, and it's an interactive graph, so you can also move the nodes, the edges. You can perform select, even multi-select, and also visualize each node in depth. And there is some options to adjust the spacing between the nodes and edges, and also reset the layout and fit to the view. So for instance, if you just move this node, you can also reset the layout. Yeah. Now we want to focus in a particular class or nodes to know that whether is there any difference in the coupling for a specific class or nodes. We can do this by our query option. For instance, we are looking for a class called comments adapter. So let's select class and the class name, and hit go. It will show you the exact class you are looking for, and also the edges and associated coupling. So this one is the graph menu options. Now let's talk about the element insight. When you select a node, it will show you the insights of this node. For instance, we are selecting the comments adapter, and these are the invocations and other attributes are invoked in this class. And it also happens for any edges. If you select the edge between these two classes, it will show you the insight of this edge. So this edge represents the coupling between these two classes, comments activity and comments adapter, and you will get this insight. So these are the actual method calls, constructor calling, attribute calling between these two classes, and you can easily identify then why the coupling is very high from here. So these are the graph option, and we also store all the analysis result in our storage, and you can find them in the side menu. For instance, there are many repository we have already analysis, and you can find the repository in particular order, like under the organization username there is a repository called insta material. This is the branch, and this is the timestamp when this analysis is performed, and it is also searchable, like you can search with the username or even the repository name. Yeah, so this is searchable, and all the analysis are stored in our storage. We have the proper documentation. If you want to view the source code of this application, just click here. It will take you to the GitHub repository of Ada, and we have the full documentation of how to deploy and develop this in local server or even production environment. And it is fully container based approach based on Docker, so you can easily deploy it any cloud infrastructure like Amazon AWS or Google GCP. And for future development purpose, we also have the wiki. Here you can see the user guide is here, how to use Ada, what is the meaning of this option, how to enable this option, and also the API guideline. If you want to use Ada as a service, you can use these endpoints when you want. And we also have some frequently asked question and feature details. So it's fully documented and exhaustively documented for future purpose. And we also add some basic validation. Currently Ada work only for Java repository, so if you want to perform this without any Java repository, say for example jQuery, if you want to perform this, it will show you which type of language it currently supports. So for instance, we select the main branch, hit analyze, and it will show you that currently Ada supports only Java repository. So Ada automatically detect the language, and based on the language it performs the analysis. So currently we only support the Java based repository. Thanks for watching.